I was 12 years old and I made $1.7 million.
So for you to be 17 years old, be making 6 figures a month between your trading and your businesses, insane for your age.
We're sitting here doing this podcast for a reason. It might hit somebody's here and change their life.
I've had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of very successful people on this podcast, but none of them have a story like our guest today. He is a 17-year-old millionaire trader who made over $700,000 last year just trading. He's a full-time trader, entrepreneur, and even at such a young age, he has an incredible story and a wealth of knowledge for you all to learn from. PB, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, JDUN. I'm super excited to share my story, share the journey, and show everybody the truth and the real ins and outs of being a profitable trader.
It just still amazes me. I've smiled probably 100 times this morning. Like, you're 17 years old and you are crushing it. How does that feel to still be in high school, nonetheless, making multiple 6 figures a year trading? You know, you own some really highly successful businesses. That's not what this podcast is about. But to have a skill like trading, it's just 17 years old is mind-blowing to me. It's incredible.
So the way I view it is like, sure, I like to make money. I like to trade. I like to help people. I have some businesses. And other people in high school, they like to play sports. They like to do other things. My hobby's always been shooting for the stars and reaching my full potential. So it's like they like to do those things. They like to play sports. They like to be the best at what they're doing. I want to be the best at what I'm doing. So that's kind of how it feels. And I don't feel any different. I'm just like any other person. I just have different interests, and I have a different drive inside of me.
And you have for a long time. I mean, when did you first start trading?
Started when I was 12 years old.
12 years old?
Yeah, 12 years old.
That is awesome, dude. What were you thinking at 12 years old? Like what, I guess, when I was 12, that was like the last thing I was thinking of. So it's insane to me. You were 12 and your first thought or one of your thoughts was like, I want to learn how to trade stocks. Like, where did that come from?
It wasn't even stocks. So like my whole, like as a child, I was one of those kids where I'd search up how to make money as a 7-year-old, how to make money as an 8-year-old, how to make money online as a 9-year-old. And then I had so much free time when quarantine started, when COVID hit. Schools went virtual and I was like, okay, I'm sitting here with a bunch of time in my hands. What can I do that's going to actually help me? I want to make money. That's how I felt. Doing some research, I came across e-commerce, dropshipping. I was 12 years old. So whatever, I started dropshipping. I filled a few stores. Finally got one that worked. Made some money off of it. Not that much money, but like made like $4,000 or $5,000 off of it. You know, I was 12 years old. I thought, wow, it's a lot of money I just made. My ad accounts kept getting banned. A couple months of literally not being able to sell because accounts getting banned, age restrictions, needing to verify ID, all that crap. And I was like,
you didn't have an ID at 12?
Not an 18-year-old ID. I still don't. So I kept doing more and more research, and I just stopped e-commerce. It wasn't for me. Stopped dropshipping. And I wasn't even looking for like a different way to make money. I was just scrolling on my phone. I was scrolling on TikTok, and I saw this guy saying like he made. It was actually, I'll tell you the exact video. It was Umar Ashraf when he bought. I was like maybe when he bought a car or something, and he
SVJ probably back in the day. I saw that too.
Yeah, I think he posted an SVJ, and that really got me hyped. And following up to that, that was one of the videos I watched. I'm scrolling on my phone. I saw this guy post about trading. So I was like, oh my gosh, what's this? Trading. You can make money clicking buttons in your phone. That's perfect for me. Oh, that's what I thought. You could just make money clicking buttons. So that whole night, I didn't sleep. 9 p.m., I saw the video on my phone. At 7 a.m., my parents were downstairs drinking their coffee, and I was still up watching videos on trading on YouTube. I'm not lying. I was watching videos for 10 hours straight. Well, that's how I am. Like, when I start something, I have to finish it. Even now when I'm working, like, if I have something in my mind and it's 9 p.m., I will stay in my office till 4 or 5 a.m. trying to figure it out. I don't stop. Like, I have to get to the end of it. So I told my parents, I want to start trading stocks. And they're like, crazy? What do you want? You don't know how to trade stocks. You don't know what to do trading stocks. So I stayed up all night watching videos for that first day. By the time my parents were awake at 7 a.m., I was still up watching videos. So I told them, I said, Mom, Dad, I want to start trading stocks. They kind of looked at me like, this kid's crazy. Like I always like used to come up to them like, I want to do a lemonade stand. I want to do this. I want to start flipping shoes. I just did drop shipping and I made some money. Then I stopped. They're like, okay. My dad actually told me he's a friend that trades stocks full time. So he got me in contact with his friend, and his friend told me to download Twitter. He told me to download Twitter. He gave me a list of guys to follow. So what did I do? I followed like 100 gurus, and I DM'd every single one of them. And like maybe one of them responded. 2 of them responded. Basically telling me like, good luck, you're a young kid, stuff like that. But I went on Twitter and I used all those gurus, and I took advantage of all the free education on Twitter. So now it's X, if you guys don't know. I took advantage of all that education. I started joining these free podcasts, and that's kind of how I got into the trading world. I started with the penny stock space. That's where a majority of people were.
And did your parents make you a custodial account? Like, how did you get a trading account when you were 12?
So in the beginning, I was using my dad's account, and then I have a custodial account as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to technically be 18 to have like.
You can trade stocks at any age under 18 with a custodial account.
As long as you have a custodial account, yes.
Yeah. Which, like, even if you're trading on your, like, parents' things, like, I don't know if that's against the law, but, yeah, it doesn't even matter. You just open a custodial account and trade until you're under 18. Once you turn 18, the way a custodial account works is you're co-signed. So your parents co-sign the account, giving you permission to trade. Once you turn 18, the entity is into your name. The trading account, you own it, and you own the assets in them.
That's crazy. Now, speaking of trading accounts, I forgot to mention that this podcast is sponsored by the Funded Futures family, the #1 futures trading prop firm, funding traders, over 10,000 traders now, might I add, with their futures trading goals and needs. You can get best discounts below by tapping the link and starting your funding journey today. Now, speaking of futures and options and stuff, you said you started with penny stocks.
Yes.
I guess, where does your journey start with trading as far as, the first stock you ever traded, the first 5 stocks you ever traded? Did you ever go to options, futures, crypto? I guess, what's your journey from A to Z, from where you started to what you currently trade now?
Yeah. So I started with penny stocks, and I've never said this story before, but I was telling JDUN earlier, and he's like, PB, you need to tell people this.
Tell the story. Tell the story.
You need to tell people this. So
yes,
no one's gonna probably believe me, but JDUN, I'm gonna send you the screenshot.
I saw the screenshot.
I'll send you them. You could post them and put them on the screen.
Put it right here. It's real. It's hilarious, but it's real.
I was 12 years old, and I started with $4,000. Turned $4,000 into $12,000 trading penny stocks.
You've told that part before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I used to tell everybody else. I then blew the account. But the truth is, I turned that $12,000 into $1.7 million when I was 12 years old. 12 years old and 13 years old going on. Because it wasn't just like a one-day thing. It was actually a couple months of just holding this penny stock. And I never sold it. It was TSMP. I think now it's Humble. From 0.001 to $1.76, I was 12 years old, and I made $1.7 million. $1.7 million.
That's just crazy. Like, you still have the screenshots from it.
Yeah, I have the
I'm sure that didn't even feel real at 12 years old. Like, I still laugh when I...
So at this point, I'm like 13 when the money, I'm up 1.7 million. And the problem was, I didn't know the value of $1. So I'd call my mom. I'd be like, Mom, I made $500,000 today. There's a day I made $500,000. And she's like, what? No way. I'm like, Mom, I made $180,000 yesterday. Mom, I made another $100,000 today. And a 13-year-old kid calling their mom, saying this, she's like, what the heck?
And they didn't make you sell it?
No, like, I tell them, like, this is what I'm doing. Or, like, trusting me. I'm like, okay, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. They weren't really involved with me. It was just me.
That's crazy, because obviously, custodial account, your dad's account, whichever it was, like, that's mind-blowing that they didn't make you sell it. Like, being a dad now, I have an almost 18-month-old kid. If Riker had a position that he was up 1.7 million in, bro, I'm snatching that phone and I'm selling every share, probably way before we get to that point.
Yeah, but trading, so you're saying, of course you would do that.
Yeah, they didn't know. Your parents
didn't know. They don't know. They never traded in their life.
They just started like investing in accounts.
Yeah, they're like,
okay,
this is the next Apple. This is the next Tesla. This is the next. Our son got it. My goal was to make 18 million on it. So
18 million?
Yeah, I was delusional. I didn't know the value of $1. I was 13 years old and I made $1.7 million. Lost it all. Fast track. Didn't sell a single share. Went to zero. And I got screwed. Maybe came out of it with from 1.7 million to like 100,000. And then I blew all that money.
Then you lost the rest of it.
Blew all that money trading small caps and options. So then I went to small caps. I was trading after hours and pre-market gappers. Lost it. And then I started trading options, and I fell in love with options. So I went from penny stocks to making $1.7 million, losing all of it at 13 years old, to then to small caps, and then to options, and I never stopped with options. Never. I mean, I fell in love with it because of the volatility and the opportunities that are always there. They're always there. You don't have to continue looking, and you don't need to depend on news. With options, you have that leverage, and I think the best part of options is options were designed for you to risk less for a higher reward.
Yep.
Which is why I love them and why I believe they're the best day trading commodity.
Yeah, I feel you. I started out with penny stocks too, and the problem and when I kind of got sick of it, similar to you, is that you have to have news. And the problem is you can have a stock go from 20 cents to $1, and then from $1 down to 10 cents in minutes sometimes. And it's all news dependent, and a lot of times it's manipulated. The float's manipulated, right? You know, there can be halts where you get halted on the way up or halted on the way down, and there's nothing you can do.
There's no really strategy behind it, too. Yeah. Like, you can, if you're trading technicals off it, yes. But the way I was trading was I wasn't trading a strategy with it. I was seeing what the hottest one was. What's the number one pre-market top gainer? I'm buying that. And one thing I haven't gotten into yet is futures, but I definitely want to start getting into them. And like I've gotten tons of, like I did some research on futures, and I got tons of people hitting me up saying like, yo, like I made a tweet, I'm doing some research on futures, like prop firms hitting me up saying like, yo, let's do an affiliate. But I would never do it with them because I just didn't trust them. But what I will say is like, if there was one person's prop firm that I would trust, it would be yours. Not even like because like, this podcast aside, I mean, you're a real trader who's taught people to become profitable as well, side by side with I've done the same thing. And I know how much pride you have to take in your students. So that's why I was really interested when I saw you starting to get into futures. I was like, if JDUN's getting into futures, I'm going to start looking into it. It could be another opportunity. So futures is the only thing I haven't gotten into yet.
And I don't necessarily think that you have to. I think you can. But for me, it was like, and I've told this story a few times, but, last year I had an incredible year, or 2 years ago, excuse me, I had an incredible year trading, like 842K trading SPY. Last year I made around 300K trading options. But it was a really stressful year for me last year trading options. So I was like, okay, I'm starting this prop firm. I think that it's fair, mind you, like you said, I'm a real trader. I think it's only fair that I prove that I can trade futures because I'm a prop firm owner. I know a lot of the industry doesn't see it that way, but as a true trader myself, I do. And so I took it up. I've made less money trading futures, $1,000 a day, averaged give or take, which is still good money in hindsight, right? But if it ain't broke, why fix it? You're crushing it trading options. This morning you made like $5,000 just casually.
Yeah, 4,800.
So if you're making thousands of dollars trading options and you're confident and it's not stressful and you're grooving, your momentum's there, why switch it?
Yeah.
Maybe one day you're like, damn, the market changes or you're feeling stressed or you just need a change as a trader. Then maybe you try it, but there's no rush. I mean, bro, you're 17.
Yeah.
you got a long road of trading ahead of you to try futures and to, maybe go back to penny stocks or keep going with options. Like there's no need to switch it. Don't got to reinvent
Oh,
the wheel.
1,000,000%. And the thing with me is like, I haven't gotten into futures yet trading them because I don't really trade the indexes that much. I trade more or less individual stocks.
You don't trade SPY and QQQ much?
Not much at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I like to actually, part of my edge is I'm able to identify the strongest stock of the day and the weakest stock of the day. So like I have a relative strength and relative weakness strategy. I trade based off of like the stocks that I trade are based off what's the strongest today, what's the weakest today. And think about it like this. So this is why I do that. If SPY and QQQ are both green in the day, then I'm looking for the strongest stock of the day. So if SPY and QQQ are both green and I can find the strongest stock of the day, then what happens is every time SPY and QQQ dip, this stock barely dips with it, the strongest stock of the day, barely. But when SPY and QQQ have any sort of bullish movement, any sort of bullish price action, this stock moves at least 2 to 3 times stronger with it. So think of a chart. Think this is SPY and this is the strongest stock of the day that I'm trading. SPY goes like this, the stock goes like this. SPY dumps, the stock barely dumps. It flags out, it consolidates. That's what I'm looking for.
Pulls back to VWAP.
That's trend.
You're the VWAP master. Not to interrupt you, but
yeah, exactly. It's. I'll go over the full strategy, but I do things very different than everybody else. Like, most traders, options traders, a lot of them don't really like to trade when stocks are up a lot or down a lot. I like to stay away from it. I'm the opposite. See, for me, it's like if a bus is coming straight at you, full force, right? Would you rather jump in front of the bus and hope it stops? Or would you rather go to the bus stop, hop on the bus, and ride the bus? So that's how I view trading the trend. And I like to buy high and sell higher, or sell low and sell.
You mentioned going up a lot. Is your strategy predicated on stocks going up? Are you an uptrend trader, or do you like to trade the downside too?
No bias.
No bias. So what you're saying can also be reversed. If SPY and QQQ are down in the day and there's a weak stock, you might look for puts on said stock.
That is what I look for.
It doesn't just go to the upside, just for audience clarification.
So there's 3 ways. So if SPY and QQQ are green, then I'm looking for the strongest stock of the day, strongest stocks. And I look at those side by side at SPY and QQQ. I look at, first off, what's up the most, the stocks that are up the most. Then when the market's live, I look at what's moving stronger than SPY. So every time SPY starts to push up, what stock is moving stronger than it? Every time SPY and QQQ are dipping, what stock is flagging out? This is a really good tip. When SPY and QQQ are flagging out or dipping, if you find a stock that's flagging out, then when SPY and QQQ bounce, even if it's a small bounce, that stock is going to break out of the flag to the upside and probably hit a new high of day. I've never seen a trader really talk about that. But that's a really big tip. And there's 3 ways. So there's downside. So if SPY and QQQ are red, I look for puts. If SPY and QQQ are slightly green or slightly red, or they start to reverse, there's always a stock that is either green when everything else is red, or red when everything else is green. And if the market reverses, that's the stock you want to look for the downside, for the reversal. And I still trade it with my trend. I trade the same exact strategy every single day, and I've traded the same exact strategy every single day for the last 3.5 years, which is kind of crazy. I do the same thing every day. Looking for this. If this doesn't happen, I won't trade. If this happens, I will trade. And I don't care if it doesn't happen.
And so it takes the thinking out of it for you. You trade a set system.
My head is like a robot when I'm trading. If this happens, then I do this. If this happens, then I do this. I have built-in commands in my brain that is fully off reacting. In trading, you're going to lose if you try and predict price action. You're going to lose. You don't want to predict price action ever. You want to react based off your system and trade what your system gets you. So I always say, you want to act like a robot with your trading system, where it's, if this happens, then I do this. If this happens, then I do this. If this happens, then I don't do this. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think I see way too many traders try to time tops, try to time bottoms, and based on what you're saying, that's not part of your strategy at all. You're trend trading, which is the best thing you can do. Now, obviously, there's a few different ways to do this, but basically what you're saying is you follow the strength or weakness, right? Specifically finding an individual stock that's going to get that push either way from the overall market when it turns. And so it almost acts as you get it on the fire early, the market turns, pours some gas on it, and you catch the big flame up.
Yeah.
Or big flame down.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I do. Again, I find the strongest or weakest stock. I wait for confirmation. My strategy is, if a stock is in between, this is a rule I use. If a stock is in between pre-market high and pre-market low, it's top and you don't want to trade it. If you're trading a stock in between pre-market high and pre-market low and you're not scalping it, then expect to lose money or hold it for way longer than you're supposed to hold it. I don't hold my trades long. My losses, I cut them fast. That's because I buy really close to my stop loss. Really, really close. which gives me a really high risk to reward.
So what you said is really valuable. Do you manage your risk before each trade? Like when you're about to enter a trade, or Apple pulls back to VWAP or Tesla, whatever stocks you trade, I'm sure you have a basket of them.
Yeah.
Do you look at the trade and say, okay, we're at VWAP, I'm going to put my stop right here? Do you know your stop before you take a trade? Or how do you manage your risk? Because there's a few ways to do it.
Yeah.
You can say, I'm going to risk 1R on this and try to go for a 3R gain. I'm going to risk $100 to make 300 monetary stop.
Yeah.
You can go with a level stop where, okay, maybe you enter the trade at 100 and you're going to stop below 99. You could also do like a 5-minute close below VWAP stop. Like there's a few ways to stop. What's yours?
So first off, let me get this straight and clear for everybody watching this. And it might come off a little harsh, but there is one difference between trading and gambling, and that's calculated risk. The only difference between day trading and gambling is that you can calculate your risk, or else you're gambling and you're better off going and playing blackjack. I promise you. So first off, calculating your risk is the most important thing in trading in general. Like if you don't have calculated risk, you're not going to make it, especially with day trading. So the way I do it is before I enter a trade, you need to be prepared. Preparation is important. Like if you're expecting to enter a trade after looking at it for 30 seconds, you deserve to lose money. You deserve. So I look at a trade. I say, okay, what is my plan? What's my stop loss? What's the most I'm willing to risk? What are my take profit levels? How much am I risking for my reward? How long do I want to hold this trade for? Because with trading options, you need to understand that like you can't hold these trades all day because theta gets to you. The Greeks will crush you. So it's something not a lot of people put in their plan, but I do. Like I say, if my move doesn't happen in 10 to 20 minutes, I am getting out of this trade. Or by the 30-minute close, I'm getting out of my trade.
Is that your average hold time, like 10, 20 minutes per trade?
On a loss, it's like 3 to 5 minutes. On a win, probably like 15 to 20. Some wins are a little like... So this is one thing I've really worked on. And my 2025 goal is to hold my winners longer. And the way I'm doing that is through not selling as long as it's above the 8-9 EMA. So I
use EMAs too.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't use EMAs to enter, but I use EMAs for my selling system sometimes to help me hold runners. So like people put trailing stop losses, I use a trailing EMA. But as far as actual stop loss, so if whatever my entry is, like say I enter off a pre-market high retest, my stop loss is a 5-minute close under the pre-market high retest. So like I'm literally entering right here, and I'm stopping out if it gets a 5-minute close under. Like even if it's right under, like I'm most likely getting out. Oops. Same with VWAP.
You know who else uses the 8 and 9 EMA
Who?
for their trade management? Is Stock Market Wolf.
And he's made tens of millions.
Tens of millions. I mean, he made like 10 million last year trading, or maybe more. But I thought that was cool. He uses the 8 or the 9 or something, and like basically same as you.
But JDUN, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a 17-year-old kid, bro.
I know. Well, you're doing the same thing as someone who's made like a lot of millions of dollars trading.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
and honestly, I haven't used EMAs as much in the past year, but I used to use the 8 a lot and the 20 a lot. And I'm not opposed to going back to it, especially with individual stocks. I stopped using them because when I was trading SPY, for my system and how I trade with VPA, it just I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to. But when you're trading individual stocks and you want that second or third confirmation, or like a line to ride, you can say, like 8 EMA is great. 9 EMA is great.
Yep.
Intraday to have that kind of, I guess that second or third confirmation to really let your trade ride. Like if it's below or above the 8 EMA, I'm just going to let it do its thing.
Yeah. You should look at Meta today. So look at Meta today, pre-market high.
Today's the 24th.
Yep. January
24th.
Look
Go
at
back on the charts.
Yep. Look at the pre-market high retest. Retest a pre-market high. Read the 9 EMA all the way up. 4 days ago, MU. And I know these because I review every single trade and I study every single trade I take. MU, pre-market high retest, read the 9 EMA up 150%. 150%. So I'm telling you guys, and as far as the entries, I know we kind of haven't gotten to that yet, but you guys are probably so curious. So let me just give you guys all the sauce right now. You find your stock, First thing you're going to do is you're marking the pre-market high and the pre-market low. If it's a strong stock, you're looking for a 5-minute close above pre-market high. Once you hit the 5-minute close above pre-market high, you want to look for a retest of pre-market high. What's a retest? A retest means it comes back down and tests the level. This is our confirmation. Entering in a retest is not only going to give you a better entry, but it's going to give you a confirmation and a lower risk, higher reward. Because when you're buying on breakouts, I hate entering on breakouts. When you enter on breakouts, you can get wicked out easily. You get a worse price because there's a premium pump on green candles. And entering on red candles give you a better, not only risk reward, but the entry is really, really big. Like, I promise you guys, if you enter, like, say this is a $100 level breakout, right? And you enter on the breakout right when it gets above on a huge green candle, though, the premium's getting pumped. The IV's getting pumped. The extrinsic value is turning into intrinsic value if you're trading out the money contracts to in the money contracts. Whether then if you can get a retest when it comes back down, at the same exact price on the retest, you'll get a better entry and you'll have confirmation because you found the 5-minute close before. So after we get that 5-minute retest, what I like to do is obviously set my stop mentally. 5-minute close under, I'll get out. And then I set my take profit. So take profit 1, always at previous day high. So whatever our previous high day is, I'm selling a lot of my position there. Now I'm riding the 90 MA and the rest and selling the other key levels, psychological levels, and previous day levels. Previous day high, previous day low, always big sell levels.
That was a lot of sauce in a little amount of time.
I get really hyped up about this stuff. Really changed my life.
You can tell you're passionate about it, you know? And I think that there's a lot of value in what you just said, especially with breakouts. Too many traders get caught trying to chase breakouts, and it's a lot more stressful. And even if it doesn't stress you out, you're more likely, statistically speaking, to lose because that extrinsic value is turning into intrinsic value, right? You're getting charged more buying on the upside versus on the retest. So that alone, it might seem like, oh, it's just a few dollars per contract. It doesn't really matter. Well, yes, it does, because trading is all probabilities.
Yep.
So if you're losing a little bit of percentage of edge buying on the breakout versus the retest, over time, that's going to eat you alive.
So stop loss is very important, but you know what determines your art are? It's not where your stop loss is. It's where your entry is, as long as your system. Like for my system, I have to enter on that retest. And if I don't enter as close as possible to the level, I won't take it. Like if it bounces, I won't take it. I miss probably 70 to 80% of the trades that I'm looking at. I literally miss 70 to 80% of them. Not lying. I look at 5 stocks a day. I normally take 1 trade every single day. Like 1 trade a day is all you need that can freaking change your life. Less really is more. But again, like I miss a lot of trades, and that's because, so think about it like this. What happens when you have a bad entry, guys? What happens when you get a bad entry? You have a wider risk. You have a wider stop loss. What does a wider stop loss lead to? A lower risk to reward. What does a lower risk to reward? What does a lower risk to reward not allow? It not allows a lower win rate. So if you guys want to stay consistent, then only buy when it's an A+ setup.
You know, what you say directly applies to the future trading data that I see too. Obviously, I'm the owner of the Funded Futures family, and I'm a trader. I like to look at data. And what I find is our most profitable traders, the ones who get the biggest payouts, they all have a few traits in common. And one of those is they take less trades. They take around 2 trades a day, 1 to 2 trades a day. They trade the first 2 hours of market open. That's our first profitable time frame. So like from like 7:30 Mountain or 9:30 Eastern to like 11:30 Eastern. The second most profitable time for them is Asia session. So aftermarket, right? Yep. But as far as the actual market goes, I think you're the same way. You don't sit around and trade all day. Maybe you do. Maybe.
Why would I want to replace, like the whole point of trading is you don't want to really work a 9 to 5. That's one of the biggest objections that people do is like they go into trading for freedom. Why would I want to replace a 9 to 5 with a 9:30 to 4? No, screw that. I trade for 1 to 2 hours max every single day. What I thought. And then I go to the gym. I enjoy my day. I build my businesses. Like that's the goal, is to have freedom with trading. I don't want to be stuck at my desk all day.
And you finish high school.
Yeah.
So do you ever trade in the back of class?
So
like how does that work?
now I have a co-op with them. I was going to drop out last year if I didn't get it because I was making too much money. It didn't make sense.
I'm glad you didn't drop out. I'm a high school dropout, but that's cool that you're finishing.
Yeah, so I made a deal with my school, and it was basically, listen.
You're negotiating with your school?
I had a dinner with my principal.
Like an athlete. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, dude.
I had a whole deck, everything.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, I was trading in the back of class for 3 years. Literally, like one time I got my phone taken away. It came back from up 3,000 on a position, down 5,000. I couldn't put a stop loss, nothing. I was so mad. So mad. But one time I was in a position about to stop out. My teacher took my phone. I come back 200%. It was on SPY calls. I remember it. Huge 130 candle. Huge. But yeah, I used to trade in the back of class. Anyways, thank God now I don't have to because you guys don't understand how hard it is to trade profitably when you have kids looking at your screen 24/7. PB, this still happens in my school. PB, how much are you up? How much are you down? You lost money today? Oh, teach me. Give me some money, bro. Let me get $1, PB. Like all day. And I'm like, imagine you're red on the day, JDUN. Imagine you're down a couple thousand on the day. And if someone comes up to you and just like 24/7 coming up to you, 24/7 messing with you. Like it's hating on you. You want to explode sometimes. I always kept my cool. Now I'm a co-op student. So every single day I have off of school from 9:15 all the way at to 12 to trade. So
and then you go to school after?
I go to school from 7:30 to 9:15. I go into this little lobby area. I trade live. And then I
trade live out of school?
Yeah, every day.
That's awesome, dude.
Trade live, make some money.
That's amazing. I'm laughing. I'm smiling because it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So much at a young age.
Yeah, and then I go back from school from 12 to 2:30. And then I got home and I'm at my desk for about minimum like 8 hours. And I work out too.
You just grind.
I always work
all
out
day.
every day. Yeah, I make content. I review my trades. Like, you know, a big misconception in this space? Becoming a profitable trader is hard. But staying a profitable trader is really hard too. It's not like I'm a profitable trader now. I don't have to put in any more work.
Exactly.
No.
You don't just, I always put it this way. You don't just flip a switch and become profitable and everything becomes easy and you make money forever. Oh no. You got to keep pushing your education, keep your foot on the gas, because the second that you stop managing risk and you take your foot off the gas and you start becoming lackadaisical with your work ethic and trading,
you
can become unprofitable real quick.
Yep. Staying a profitable trader is not easy. You need to want it as much as you wanted it when you were unprofitable, and able to keep it. Like, you need to continue. I learn every single day in the markets. I will never ever know everything in the markets. I learn every single day something new, and I think that also resonates with my screen time. I have watched every single 5-minute candle or reviewed every 5-minute candle on the indexes by QQQ every single day for the last 3.5 years. I've reviewed every single candle because what that does. Now, when things happen in the market, I see it. I know how to read the price action. I see a doji candle. I know reversal is incoming. And then I know where it's going to bounce based off of previous data. Like, trading is not a guessing game. Trading is a data game. Traders, you need to review. You need to look at history. And you need to make sure that you are on top of your game. You need to be scanning the market daily. You need to be reviewing your trades daily. You make a stupid mistake, you won't be a profitable trader if you make the same mistake over and over and over and over again. You won't. So you need to stay on top of it. You need to adapt to the market. The market's shifting 24/7. The market is always shifting. Like, you have to adapt to your strategy and your system based on what the market gives you. It's not based on what you give the market. The way you do that is through journaling.
No, I always say that the age-old phrase is that only the strong survive. Well, I disagree. I think it's only the adaptable survive. So, the market we have today is much different than the market we had in 2024. The 2024 market was much different than 2023. But if you have a set strategy based in price action, which both of our strategies are, based on watching price, watching candles, having some different confirmations and such to help, but it's based purely in price action. You're going to be fine for whatever way the market shifts. Up, down, sideways, doesn't matter. You're going to be able to find a way to make money as long as price is moving.
9%.
So speaking of adapting, what's next for you after high school? Are you going to college, or do you want to keep like what's your goals of trading? What's next for you? And I mean, you're so young, man.
So,
Where's life headed for you?
This is like a big thing for me. Obviously, this is like college acceptance and denial thing in the next few months. I applied to 3 Ivy League schools. I applied to Wharton, Columbia, and I guess Ross is an Ivy League, and Ross.
Do you have
Wharton,
good grades?
Columbia are. I do. School's always been relatively easy for me. So I don't really do anything. I don't really like studying stuff, but school's always been easy for me. I have all A's. And I haven't done anything in school in the last year and a half. I don't remember one time studying. It just always came kind of easy. But I don't really want to go to college. I would go for one reason though. If I get into one of those 2 Ivy League schools, I would go not because of education. I would go to meet people. So like think about these people who get into 1% acceptance rate schools. These people's either they're well connected, they're super geniuses. These are like the next CEOs, these are the next startup owners. These are the type of people that I kind of want to be around. So I'm thinking about potentially going to college for a little bit if I get into one of those 2 schools. And even if I do get in, I might not go still. My plan is to, first off, I want to continue scaling my trading. I want to make 8 figures a year trading. Then I want to continue building my businesses. I want to also get into the retail business as well. Then I want to, as well as the retail business, I'm planning on buying my first property. Hopefully, when I turn 18, I'm going to buy some real estate properties. And I am going to, off of that, also use also off the real estate properties, my goal with that is to kind of create a mini business off that where I'm making so much money at 17 years old. I have a lot of cash. And like, I don't have bills. I don't have a family to take care of. Like I have freedom to take risks. So the way I view it is like
freedom to take risks. I love that.
Yeah, the way I view it is like if I start investing in right now into this stuff, in 10 years, I can be set for the rest of my life strictly based off smart investments. I've also invested, nobody really knows this, I've invested into a few startups, software company. So I'm making smart investments with my money. I was like last year, a year and a half ago, I was going to buy like a sick car. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to do it. And I made some really good investments. And like, I'm not lying to you, I could buy like 2 of those cars based off of the smart investments that I made with my money. And obviously now it's I want to keep making smart investments, keep scaling a business. I love business, dude. I love trading and I love business. I love growing companies, scaling companies.
Well, it's very admirable. Like, to have money takes a lot of responsibility. So for you to be 17 years old, be making 6 figures a month between your trading and your businesses, and to be able to refrain from going to buy designer and Lambos, which I think eventually, you're going to reward yourself with a nice car. You deserve it. But the fact is, you're not out blowing all the money you're making, which is insane for your age. You're incredibly mature for your age, and people that are in their 20s and 30s, aren't at that level. I wasn't even. I tell this story a lot. Like when I first came into millions of dollars, like I spent $100,000 in 1 year on designer clothes. It makes me want to barf now. Like I wear Team Bull shirts now and like American Eagle jeans, But like I look back and I'm like, I wish would have been a lot smarter with my money when I first came into millions. And like, you're coming into millions and you already got it figured out, which is one of the many reasons why your trading is going to keep continuing to scale. And so are all the things that you use your money that you make trading to build with.
Well, the way I view it, JDUN, is like I worked way too hard to get to this point. I sacrificed a lot of my childhood and my high school years to get to this point that I'm not going to be dumb with what I've built. I worked too hard to let my money go to waste, my hard-earned capital. That's how all of you guys should be thinking too. Like every time before you take a trade, if that trade's not A+, yeah, we're talking about spending money, but you should think about it as losing money. If it's not an A+ trade that you wouldn't take 1,000 out of 1,000 times, that if I were in front of you, you wouldn't say, PB wouldn't approve this trade. You shouldn't take it. It's your hard-earned money. You work too hard for that money to lose it. So that's kind of how I view it in a way of I'm not letting my hard-earned money go to waste. No. I'm going to be smart with it. I'm going to keep making smart investments. And I'm going to use what I've built to my advantage to set me up for life, not just for a couple of years of fun. No. Like, I understand that, like, I might be boring to people. But you know why? I like God, I like trading, and I like helping people, and I like building businesses.
And I'd bet that you've gotten pretty good at saying no over the years. You can't be a yes man. You can't be a yes man. As a trader, as a business owner, anything. Like, especially when you come into money and success, you know, I can't imagine, especially with your demographic and age group of people, like, how many people have asked you to teach them how to trade and, like, spend your hard-earned time and money, like, hundreds, thousands probably. Like, at your school.
Yeah, I mean, of course, thousands.
Thousands.
I've gotten offered $1 million cash, $1 million cash to trade their money, and I said no. $1 million cash.
That's crazy.
I was gonna 50%. I said no. But as far as that, like, having the success at a young age, people try and take advantage of me a lot. And I learned my lesson the hard way, but I've learned it in a very good way. Like, if you were to come and meet me in person, I'm not like, I'm not dumb. Like, I'm not just I feel like people view me sometimes and like, yeah, he's just a dumb kid. I learned my lesson the hard way. And that's one thing I'll recommend for a lot of people, not even if you're young, but even when you're having success. And I'm sure JDUN could resonate with that. People try and take advantage of you.
All the time.
And you need to be careful. You need to always, like, even in business, every day someone's trying to steal what you've built and tear it down for themselves.
Yep. Wolf of Wall Street said it best. Once you rise to power, there's always some asshole coming to try to take you down.
Yep. So you have to be on your feet 24/7. And with your trading, like, guys, we're talking about people trying to mess with our businesses. Same thing with trading. The market makers, the market's adapting so that you can lose money and put more liquidity into the market. You guys ever think, like, why is the market so hard? Because how does the market grow? More money comes into it, right? That's how the market grows. How does more money come into the market? People have to either lose and put more money into the market, or they're investing their hard-earned money into the market.
And it's basically being eaten by the market because it's sitting there.
Exactly.
You know, it's not being lost, but it's the market's taking said money from person.
Larger and larger and larger.
And then on the flip side of it, you know, the market makers, algorithms, you know, HFTs, all that, they're just physically, well, not physically, but they're actually taking the money from the liquidity, you know, a lot of retail. Yeah. Or other big algos battling, you know?
And you have to view it like 99% of people are continuing to put money into the market. It's like, if you're sitting here and you're thinking like, oh, I'm becoming a profitable trader, easy. Are you willing to outwork the other 99% of people? What are you going to do different than 99% of other people that fail that's going to make you successful? Are you going to work harder? Are you going to be more disciplined? Or are you going to sit home doing what you do every single day? And, like, you know, one thing, JDUN, a lot of people talk about is balance. And I'm going to hurt a lot of people's truths right here. I don't know how you feel about this, but when you're in those stages of becoming a profitable trader, balance is a scam. You have to be completely unbalanced. Like, I was completely unbalanced when I became a profitable trader. And obviously now,
I don't believe in balance either.
Yeah, you have to work your freaking hardest. Like, you're not going to be part of the 1% with balance. Obviously, the goal is now you have a little bit of freedom. Now you have the ability to be a little more balanced. But if you want to outwork 99% of people, you can't go out and drink every night and freaking, I don't know how you guys are thinking, and go and watch porn and do all this nasty, disgusting stuff that other 99% of people are doing. You need to stay disciplined. You need to go to the gym. You need to be able to literally be 99% of people. If there's 100 people in the room, what's making you stand out? Balance is a scam.
Preach. You know, and I think that, like you said, eventually once you get some more priorities in life, whether it's like, or not priorities, but things that require time, like, for example, myself with a kid. Even having a kid, I still will tell up-and-coming entrepreneurs and traders, like, the traditional definition of balance isn't going to work for you if you want success. You can't spend half your time playing video games and being a family man and watching TV and, like, half your time trading. Like, you're going to have to spend days, lose sleep, lose time out with friends, lose dinner time to focus on your craft. right? It's going to be very, very skewed for a long time. But you know what that very skewed metric of time brings? Eventually, you're going to have the choice to have balance. When you're starting out, when you're not where you want to be, when you're not a multimillionaire, when you still have to worry about money and where rent's coming from or where the mortgage is coming from, like, you don't got a choice to have balance. Once you make millions of dollars and you're a successful trader, like, you know, you could spend half your time doing this or that right now if you wanted.
I don't want to.
You don't want to because you're hungry for more. What I'm saying is that a lot of the people that are probably watching this, like, you got no option for balance right now. If you think you're going to spend a little time each day doing trading and like trying to treat it like a hobby and, you know, learn a little bit each day, like, nope, you're not going to make it.
I locked myself away from the world for 3 years.
Yep.
For 3 years, I locked myself away from the world. It was me and the charts. It was me versus the charts every single day. And I was trying to win. And that's what it took. Like, I mean, I'm sure you know this too, but you know the amount of times people have called me to go out and I've said, no, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't. Right now, my whole school, all my friends, they're at a trip in Washington, D.C. right now. I couldn't go. I had to come and do this podcast. That's just some of the sacrifices you have to do. Sure, I'd love to go out and hang out with my friends for 3 days. I can't.
Is it hard to have friends being at this success level you are?
Very.
It is for me. Even 28 years old, it's hard for me too. Like I've always embraced the mindset of 4 quarters over 100 pennies. And, you know, like I'd rather have a few really close friends that I had before the money, right? Back from when I was your age. But I look at your situation and like, you're a millionaire at 17. How is that? Like, how is it finding, you know, having the skill like trading and having all this money and finding real loyal people to be around you?
It's sad because a lot of people that I thought were my friends, my best friends, they weren't. They weren't. They clowned on me. I used to go to school and literally be traumatized every single day. The amount of hate I used to get. Like, think about a 13-year-old kid posting TikToks documenting your loss. I documented my whole journey to becoming a profitable trader on Twitter and Instagram. My whole journey, really on Twitter, and as well as TikTok, and I got banned. I was documenting every single day, the wins, the losses, the journey, the sleepless nights. I have a video, December 2023. I said, I'm going to come back to this video in 1 year. The day I posted that, came back from spring break, from Christmas break, the whole school was talking about me. The whole school. You're a loser in 1 year. You're probably going to be sitting there, lost all your money, doing nothing. You're a clown. You're a joke. You'll never get anywhere. Those same kids asked me to teach them how to trade. Same exact people. And again, like I lost basically all my friends. I have like maybe 2 real friends, maybe 3.
That's great.
And they're like, those are my ride or dies. They've been with me from before. They supported me throughout the whole journey. And that's South John. I have a question for you though. You ever feel like when you go out with people who have less than you, then you're like inclined to do more for them?
Of course. Now the thing, I guess, like there's 2 perspectives to it. You know, I like paying for my friends' stuff, and I'm a giver. So I like paying for people around me stuff that don't expect it. Like, if I go out and I would feel like someone was like, oh, JDUN's going to pay because he's rich, you know, like, or because he has money he should, I don't like that. But when you're with good people, you know, that don't really expect anything from you, and you have the ability to give back and give people around you a good time and a good life, like, that was a big why for me. I mean, a big why for me was my family. You know, taking care of my mom with trading. That was part of the whole dang reason I got into it in the first place, was taking care of my family and finding freedom. So if I can use the money I've made trading and through business to take care of the people and the friends around me, I think it's cool. You know, yeah. I like it. You know, I know you like to give away money too and to bless the community. Yeah. I think it just depends on the situation and the circumstances. That's the biggest thing for me.
See, that's how I am too. Like I like to pay for the bills. I like to do this and that, but I got taken advantage of. Like I know that I got taken advantage of because like people who I used to never hang out with, like the cooler people, the popular people, they started inviting me out, and they're expecting me to pay. And like I'm always a giver. Like I always like I'm a type of person where I got taken advantage of. I would always do it because I'm too nice for my own good. And that also happened with my like trading mentor. I don't know if I told you, but my mentor stole everything from me when I was in those beginning stages. But after a year, one whole year, over a year of teaching me every single day, he was a big influencer too on social media, gone now. He stole everything from me. Everything.
And how did you get away with that? How'd that go down? Like, what do you mean stole everything from you?
All the money I had, gone.
Like, did you give it to him? You just didn't give it back? Was he going to trade for you? Like, how?
This is what his story was. His dad had cancer, and he was from Canada, and they needed money in U.S. funds, and he'll send it back to me the next week. I sent it to him. He sent it back to me. And then he said he needed a little more. Sent to him. Never heard back from him. Then two years ago, he texted me. He's like, I promise you, brother, I'm going to pay you back. You know what I said? God bless you. You needed it more than I needed it.
Wow.
Like I learned from it. And that was a huge learning lesson for me.
I'm sure he got his karma too.
Yeah.
You know, you got your karma obviously in a positive way. You know, God's blessed you in your journey. And unfortunately for people that choose that alternative path, I'm sure he got hit with his karma too.
Yeah. And again, like, I don't know what his circumstances are. So he needed it more than I did. And God put it in his life for that reason. I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. We're sitting here doing this podcast for a reason. It might hit somebody's here and change their life. Change their life. Something me and you said. Just because we're having a simple conversation. I've had posts. I had a guy. He sent me like 5-page essay about how I saved him from committing suicide. I'm going to show you it after this. I saved him from committing suicide 2 times. Because of my motivational tweets I posted. Fast forward a year, he's married, has a kid, a baby. He just had a baby, and he's like, oh my gosh, literally a 4-page essay on like thanking me for saving his life, and I didn't even know it was an indirect like. If I didn't make one of those tweets that day, he would have killed himself.
Isn't that crazy?
And God put that motivation in my head, like, PB, make this tweet. Like, you don't think about that. And I'm sure you too. You've hit people in ways you don't even imagine.
Not the exact message, but I've gotten a lot of those too. I mean, we post a lot of similar stuff, like big on discipline and staying strong and having faith in God. Like, we're both very unapologetically God-fearing men. And one of my biggest motivations is I love tweeting, posting discipline over dopamine. Like,
I love that.
Be disciplined, take care of yourself, choose good habits, avoid the crap, the internet, the porn and shit, the nasty food, the nasty habits. And, getting the messages, like, you don't realize how many people you're impacting outside of trading. Obviously, you've changed a lot of traders' lives. I've changed a lot of traders' lives. But, like, beyond the trading, how many people that we're impacting and having a positive net impact on and even changing lives and trajectories of lives.
One time I had an instance, and I'm sure I'm like probably... At one point, I was probably the most hated trader in the space simply because I had success at a young age. Literally, that's the only reason. I did a post where I gave like a person money. I gave a person money. Got like 1 million views on Twitter. 1 million views on Twitter and like 6,000 or 7,000 like hate comments. Like thousands and thousands and thousands of hate comments across all platforms. And it's literally because like I didn't understand it. But then when I thought about it, it's like, if I have 1 million haters, 1 million people that hate on me, but if I can help one person, if I could change one person's life, then it's worth it. Money comes and goes, but what stays is the impact you leave on every single person you interact with. That's what stays. That's what people remember about you. They won't remember that you made millions and millions of dollars, JDUN. They'll remember JDUN impacted my life. When I saw JDUN, he put a smile on my face. When I saw JDUN, he was always advocating for more and for me to be a better person. And that's what they're going to think about you. They're going to have gratitude towards that, not because you had money.
Yeah, no one cares about the cars or the watches or any of that stuff.
They seem to care, but the real people, no. That's not real. That's fake. That's fake. All the money, all that stuff is
powerful.
Fake. Yeah,
powerful.
It's powerful, but it's not bad. It's awesome. You could change your life. It's not bad, but it's, again, like you have to really learn from it.
And I like to say too that talking about the discipline and the life side has a direct correlation to trading too. I firmly believe one of the key principles I speak on is that it's really hard to be a profitable trader when your personal life is in turmoil. It's hard to be a profitable trader when you're undisciplined in everything you do in your daily life. So sure, we speak about having good habits and living a peaceful life and choosing the right activities on a day-to-day, but it does impact your trading. If your personal life's a shit show and everything's going wrong and you're a nutcase, for whatever reason, it's going to be really hard to dial in and focus as a trader. So it has a direct impact.
Oh yeah, your discipline in your trading will directly correlate to your discipline in your life. Your discipline in your life, you're going to have way more discipline as a trader. And Newton's third law, every input is an equal output. It's the same exact thing. You're disciplined, you're working hard, you give it your all, it's impossible to fail. It's impossible to fail. If you truly work your hardest, and I'm a big believer in this, you actually give it your hardest, like harder than you think you could even go, you can't fail. You can't. Like if you make failure not an option in your head, if you give it your absolute all, like you actually work your hardest, you work harder than you thought you could even work, you can't fail. You can't. You can't tell me you're going to fail. Or you just don't want it bad enough.
And the way I look at it is you compare trading to the gym. If you go to the gym every day for 6 months and you hit it with all you have and you eat the healthiest foods and you dial in 100% every day, you're going to look better in 6 months. Same thing with trading. You hit the charts every day, you journal every trade, you look at every candlestick, you're going to be a better trader in 6 months. But if you go to the gym every day for 6 months and you treat it like a hobby and you're on your phone half the time and you're eating cheat meals every other day, you're not going to make much progress in 6 months. Same thing with trading. You go in and you're treating it like a hobby and you're journaling every other day or every third day and you're getting screen time sometimes, but not the other times. You're going to be the same freaking trader 6 months later that you were today.
And the beauty of that is if you go to the gym for 3 years and then for 3 months you eat like shit and you stop going to the gym and you stop working hard, what's going to happen? You're going to be that same person you were before. It's the same thing with trading. You need to be on top of it. You need to be consistent. You need to show up every single day whether you want to or not.
Yep, every day. I think that honestly our job as traders, I say this example a lot too, is harder than being in the NBA. Because, hear me out, LeBron James goes out and has a horrible game, misses all 20 shots. Common for LeBron, Kobe guy. But he goes out and misses all of his shots. He goes home for the night, is a little disappointed. He still gets to come out and play the next day. If you're a trader and you go over 20 and you don't manage your risk and you blow up, guess what? You might not have a trading account anymore. So for us, we're not allowed to have a bad game where we blow it all. We can have a bad game or a bad day where we manage our risk. But if you just go on tilt, miss every shot, and just overtrade and lose any sense of risk management, you're going to be out of a job. You're going to be out of a trading account.
Yeah, and the reason people blow accounts is simply based off this one factor, and it's revenge. Revenge is what makes you lose your account. Think of every bad thing you can do as a trader: over trading, taking stupid trades, full porting, making stupid decisions. It's all based off one thing: revenge. You're trying to make back money. You're either a unprofitable trader, you took a big loss, you want to make back your losses, whatever. It all is based off revenge. And revenge isn't only bad in trading. Revenge is bad in life too. Why would, if you feel like you ever need to have revenge on somebody, if you want to grow as a person, don't even forget it. You should forget about it. Forget about it. Because the second you do something to have revenge on that person, it puts you in the same level as them. The same level. That's why I always say, you'll never meet a hater doing better than you. I look at it like if a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old is hating on a 17-year-old, that puts me up here and puts them down there. Because, what do you have to go through in your head to go and hate on a 17-year-old?
People said the same thing about LeBron when he went to the league at 17. You should go, if you go back and watch the newscasts of LeBron going to the league at 17, they were saying everything negative about him. He's too young. He's overrated. Blah, blah, blah. Well, he's a billionaire now, and he's one of the best players ever to do it.
Yeah, and why were they saying that? Because when people hate you so much, when people want to hate on you, it's not necessarily because they don't like you. It's because they want to be you so bad, but can't. So instead, to hide their ego, they try and change the way people perceive you. They try and change the way people view you so that they can feel higher as a person. In reality, they just want to be you.
Yep. It's facts. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit. I had a few questions I didn't get to ask you earlier about your trading. Do you have a basket of stocks? Like, do you have a few stocks, 5 stocks, 10 stocks that you like to focus on every day? I never got to get that answer from you.
Yep. I have a list of 10 stocks. I could pull it up if you want real quick.
Yeah. Let's see it.
Yeah, I mean, I know off the top of my head, but I actually have a YouTube video too on like exactly, it's on my YouTube for free, and like literally how I find stocks to trade from A to Z. And it's the same stocks that I look at, but more or less like the system.
The YouTube's below here too.
Thank you. I look at NVIDIA, AMD, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, SPY, IWM, Amazon, AMD, Mara, Coin, Google, Meta. Those are like
13, 14 stocks?
Yeah, like 13, 14. There might be a few that I missed, but that's basically like the stocks that I look at. I mean, yeah, like all stocks, they all have highly liquid contracts. They're all very easy to get in and out of, which is very important because there is a lot of scammers on there on Twitter. They might say they're doing everything for free, but that's because you're making money off you buying illiquid contracts. And I don't care. I say it how it is. Look, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. Like, don't be taking – if you can't buy and sell easily the contract, if it's too spready, if the contract has extremely low volume, or if the contract has more volume than other contracts by like 100x, don't take it. Don't take it.
If you see a Twitter account tweeting, next 10,000% gainer coming, nuclear play inbound, who's ready, and it's an option contract, run.
And especially if it's cheap.
Yeah,
under 20 cents.
Far and fast.
You should never be buying contracts under 20 cents. I mean, unless it's like a very cheap stock that's liquid, no. Make sure you're always taking liquid contracts. All the stocks I named, you can get in and out of the contracts very easily. They're very high volume. They're all huge companies.
How much do you trade with? Like, what do you start each year with in your trading account, and how much size do you put on per trade?
Yeah, for sure. So this is a great question. It's a very, very interesting answer for you. I'm the opposite of a lot of people. I like to trade with a smaller account, but I trade my smaller account like it's a lot more money. So I'll trade with like $20,000, $25,000 and act like it's like a $50,000 to $60,000 account, putting on obviously more risk. So my average trade is around $5,000 position sizing, maybe a little less, sometimes $4,000 to $5,000. And yeah, that's basically my average trade. So today in my trades, I made $4,800. My first trade was a 100% win. I was risking, I want to say, so that first trade I made $2,800, and I risked like $700. So sick RR.
Wow, that's
it was a 100%er. I held it long. Second one was a little lower. It was like a 50% win, 1 to like 3 RR. So I probably risked today like $1,500 to make $4,800.
Basically $1,500 to make $5,000.
Yeah,
it's like that's a solid 3 point something R.
Yeah, and that's basically what my R is. And I have a very high like win rate as well. And people always say you can't have a high win rate and a high RR. You could when you sometimes you take 3 trades a week, 4 trades a week. Like I don't trade that much. I trade when I see a 6 setup. If I don't see 6 setup, I'm done.
Does it help you manage your emotions having a smaller account that you mentally act like is bigger?
Yes, 1,000,000%. So again, like if you were to, even though I don't remember the last time I have, but if you're to ever go on tilt or take too many trades, you physically can't. I trade in a cash account too. I don't trade in a margin account.
Really?
Trade in a cash account. Yep, love it.
So then basically, like if you were to hypothetically tilt, and you use up your buying power, you're done for the day, whether you want to be or not.
Yeah.
It kind of acts as like a daily loss limit, something that
Which I have a daily loss limit.
Some futures firms have like hard or soft daily loss limits.
Yeah.
Kind of acts like as a built-in one.
That's sick. Yeah, well, that's what I do. So like I have a daily loss limit. I'll never lose more than like now. My daily loss has gone a little higher this year, but like if I lose like $1,500, I'm done for the day. I don't even take another trade.
1,500.
Yeah, it's normally like around the number, around 1,500. I don't take another trade. That's it. I'm done. That's like one small loss. Again, like even if I take a loss, 30 minutes minimum. Can't trade the same stock.
So do you have an actual loss limit where not monetary, but if you were to lose 2 trades, like for example, if I lose 2 trades, I'm done for the day, finished. Are you willing to lose more than 2 trades in a day?
I barely take more than 2 trades. Sometimes I'll take more than 2 trades in a day. But again, like if I get to that limit, I'm done for the day. That money amount, I cut my losses and I stop trading. And that allows you to not revenge trade, which is how you blow your account. And $1,500 is like an amount where if I lose $1,500 in a day, one green trade is $2,000, $2,500. I'm fine. Like I'm 100% okay and healthy with losing that amount of money and not feeling I have to take another trade, which is important when you're putting your daily loss limit. Like, don't put your daily loss limit if you have $5,000 in your account at $2,000. No. Put your daily loss limit at an amount where you can lose that amount in a day and be totally fine and trade the next day with a clear mind. Having a clear mindset, having a clean slate in your mind every single day is so important. Like, whether I made $10,000 the day before or whether I lost whatever the day before, I start each day thinking I am a fresh P&L trader. I have never lost money in the market. I've never made money in the market. And that's how you should view it, because if you want to be in the game for the next 5, 10, 15 years, you need to zoom out. Like, people tilt because they're thinking in their head, okay, I just lost this much money last year. I have to make that back. I have to make it back. How am I going to make it back? Stop thinking like that. Stop thinking in the mindset of I have to make it back. Start thinking in the mindset of I need to be the best possible trader that I could. And stop looking at the P&L. Look at your performance. Look at your R to R. Look at your win rate. Look at your average loser compared to average winner. Look at your overall trading performance. Are you following your rules? Are you following everything you said you're going to follow? Like, you need to like base yourself off of performance, not based off P&L.
That money you lost is tuition paid.
Exactly.
It's the same mindset as someone who went to college, paid for college, and then goes to their job. They're not going to sit there and think every day, okay, I just have to make that college money back. No, you got to get better at your job and keep advancing forward. You got to focus on the principle, man. You know, same thing with trading. You go lose 10, 20, 30, 40 grand. That's tuition. Now, your job as a trader is to act and learn and be better from those losses you took. If you sit there and worry about making that 40 grand back, you're going to lose another 40 grand.
It's the best type of tuition. It's the best type of tuition because in college, you have to go to tuition and you still don't have freedom, right? You pay that tuition, you're in debt, you still don't have freedom. With trading, you're paying this tuition to not only learn something that's like you can scale to the limit, make millions and tens of millions of dollars. So first off, there's no limit on it. Second off, you can do whatever you want. Third off, you do it wherever you want in the world. I go on vacation. It's just work with a different view. Like, it's work with a different view. It's not vacation.
That's facts. I like that.
You know? So that's why I think it's the best tuition, and I truly believe, like, I'm so blessed to have found trading at a young age and found my passion at a young age, because I was worried. Like, when I was younger, I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I'm 10 years old.
When I was younger.
When I was 10 years old,
17?
Yeah. This is what most people are thinking now. I was thinking that like 7 years ago. But again, like, I was also the kid where, I was showing them earlier, I was 10 years old. For my birthday, I didn't want a birthday present. You know what I wanted? I wanted my parents to take me to the Lamborghini dealership so I could check out the cars and take pictures with the cars. That's how bad I wanted it. Every single day. Every day. 2 birthdays, I literally, instead of having a birthday, I went to the exotic car dealership and just checked out the cars and took pictures with them. I have a picture when I was 10 years old next to a Huracan. And it was, my mom captioned it. This is P's dream car. He just took a picture by it. He's 10 years old. Lol.
You're going to drive your first Huracan today. He's going to drive JDUN's Huracan, baby. The Team Boatmobile, leave me hanging. That's awesome, man. And I think that, you know, it's all perspective. And the fact that you found your passion for trading at such a young age is, like, that's going to be, you're going to look back when you're my age at 28, 11 years from now and be like, damn, like, you're going to have 12, 20, 16 years of experience in the market when you're my age. That is insane. You're going to have like a doctorate plus like extra residency experience by my age.
Yeah, again, like, it's crazy to think about, but it's just like, it just levels. Like, I'm going to get there. And no matter what, I'm going to do everything in my power to not only stay in the game for that long, but to continue to grow in the game for that long. Like, 16 years of growing, that's a lot. That's a lot, you know. I have a lot of pressure on myself. But like pressure isn't necessarily bad. It's not. I like the pressure.
What's the first thing you ever bought with your trading profits? Like you withdrew money.
You want to see?
What'd you buy? Oh, you got it on you.
Oh yeah. The PB iced out chain.
You got a chain with PB on it.
Yeah.
Stop.
I was a youngin', but iced out PB chain.
That's awesome. Real diamonds?
Yep.
Gold, real gold?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like almost over $3,000.
Bro's iced.
Yeah, and then I bought
That's
this.
cool. That's sentimental. That's cool.
Yeah, I bought that, and I always wear it. It was a couple years ago. And then I put an office in my basement, spent $10,000 on that. Then I bought a car, $100,000 AMG. Then I don't know. I bought a lot.
What do your
of
parents
stuff.
do, man? Do you come from money? Like, what's your story? We're kind of like, this is something we usually talk about at the beginning, but like,
You know, sure.
what's like? Are your parents rich? Did you grow up poor? Like, what's your story?
I grew up middle class. Obviously, I'm still growing up. But my parents came to the Iraq. Zero money.
They came from Iraq.
Zero money, yes. So grandparents came here from Iraq with their kids. My dad's parents, very ghetto like spot. Like if you were to see the houses, like size of this, it's less than this room. Wow. And his parents both couldn't work. They both had very bad health problems. My dad worked in a gas station since he was like 7 years old. He was working. And then at 10 years old, like really working, he didn't go to high school. He didn't go to college. He worked very, very hard. After 10 years of working, he saved up enough money to then go and buy a party store. He then worked at the party store, sold it, opened up junkyards, and now he owns dispensaries, junkyards.
He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, real estate. He's an entrepreneur now.
Okay, that's cool.
He's taught me a lot, and I'm gonna say it. Like I've obviously like I didn't grow up with no role models, nothing. My dad's a huge role model for me.
That's awesome.
My mom's also a huge role model for me. My mom's like, she's the girl version of me, bro. She really is. She's always like on me. Like she's like, PB, make sure you go and review your previous podcast and what you wish you didn't say and stuff like that before you do that. On the flight, I want you doing that. And if you're not going to college, you need to be reading these books and doing these vocab things. And she's always asking me about my business and always in tune. And I'm very, extremely grateful to have two supportive parents by my side and a successful dad it came from nothing, that is teaching me in the way. But I didn't have any handouts. Like, they never gave me money or anything like that. I had zero handouts. I mean, you could technically just think about it. Like, I started from literally just savings. Again, like,
that's cool.
And my dad knows nothing about trading, both my parents.
It sounds like your dad kind of like came from the gutter, made something of himself, but he wasn't going to just hand life to you.
No.
That's like the exact situation as I'm going through with how my kid's going to be. Like, I kind of came from the gutter, single mom, dad in prison, then killed. And I didn't get anything handed to me. But I'm like, I don't want Riker to grow up and be one of those kids that like thinks that he's entitled to everything, like kind of like the kids I grew up with. So like I'm gonna be like, you're gonna be like a little PB. Like you're gonna have to drop ship or, go work concession stands or something for your money because like you're not getting it from dad. You're gonna earn every dollar that you make.
My dad tells me this. He says, this is what he told me when I was growing up. And when I told him I didn't want to go to college, it was a couple years ago. Obviously now things have changed, but he told me, I worked so hard. I couldn't go to school so that you can work smart. And that he wanted me to go to college, obviously. But now he sees that him putting me through school and him doing everything he did has paid off since I'm seeing success and I found my passion and I'm doing well for myself. But his motto is, I worked so hard so that you can work so smart. And he also, like, I always worked when I was younger. Like, I was 9 years old, taking me to work with him in the junkyards and doing hard labor.
They got to be really.
And he wouldn't pay me a lot. It would pay me like $12 an hour, $13 an hour. He wouldn't just,
That's awesome.
And he wouldn't even be by me. I'd have to be with his workers and just literally side by side with them, all whaley and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I'm blessed again to have somebody in my life like that as a role model. But that's why like a mentor is really good. Finding community of people to uphold you. You can always learn from there. So no matter where you are, whether you don't have role models like I do in your life or you do, there's no excuse. You can't say PB successful because of that. No, because the people I grew up with, the kids I grew up with are all very wealthy and none of them are doing even a bit. Like I talk to them, I say, what do you want to do with your life? I want to work for my dad. I want to take over the company. I want to do what my dad's doing. that was never how I wanted to do ever.
You wanted to make PB's path.
I thank God for putting that in me, because screw the money. The journey is the best thing. It's the best thing in the world. From going from $0 to then $10,000 a month to then $20,000 a month, then losing all your money, and then scaling again from 0 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, and seeing all your work come to progress. You as an entrepreneur, side by side, can vote me on this, but that's the best journey. And like, it's like you go to school, you do nothing, you feel zero accomplishment. Sure, you're making millions of dollars, but it's not your money. You didn't work for that. You got handed that.
Yep.
That's just, and I'm not saying anything bad for people that do that. Like, you take your opportunities, but again, it's just never how I was wired. I wanted to make something for myself.
You did. How much do you want to make trading this year? What's your goal? Do you have a goal?
So, and overall, I want to make $3 million this year. Trading, my goal is to make 7 figures.
You want to make $1 million trading this year?
Yeah. Yep. But I don't like to put money numbers on it. Yeah. So like,
me neither. That's why I'm always a little hesitant with that question. It's just kind of cool to ask.
Yeah, like that's like,
you have a goal.
Obviously, in the back of our heads, like we have those goals. But like, if I perform my best all this year and I don't hit that goal or overly excel that goal, that's what I'm happy about.
That's my goal too, is $1 million between day trading and crypto this year. And I think it's very reasonable. Like my main focus, I spend like an hour or two a day trading now. I've been doing this for 8 years. My main focus has been the prop firm FFF. Obviously, Team Bull just is kind of like self-sufficient now. But like my trading, it's like I still have passion for trading, even being, a decamillionaire. Like I still like to trade. It's still fun. It's a passion. I feel like when you have that real passion and it's beyond money, it's more about like the process. You want to perform. I like to perform. I like to win.
Well, also like with you having Team Bull and me having New Age, as teachers, as motivators, as people creating and changing lives, creating profitable traders, we have to be traders. Like, I practice what I preach. I learn all my trades, and all the trades I learn, I take them with capital. And if I take a loss, I'm showing them the loss. Like, and I don't like
balls.
I don't like that stuff where people just they don't practice what they preach. I hate that.
You see it a lot, especially in the prop firm industry. Like, there's like I know like one trader who owns a prop. The rest of them are just like business dudes, which is okay. I think it's cool with like, FFF that I'm a trader, right? I've been trading for longer than way longer than I've ever imagined owning a prop. I was like you. I had never taken an affiliate deal for any prop ever because I had the same worries as you. I'm like, I don't trust these guys. They're not traders, And so back on course, like it's something that's just a passion, like setting goals, like the $1 million for both of us. It's a process thing. I like to win.
I like to win too. I'm a winner.
I know you are. You're going to win big, man.
And I think it's like, I think in general, just like people who work their hardest at anything they do, like you go into something, you're doing everything you could to make sure it's successful, right?
Yep, of course.
That's the number one thing that a winner has in common. You might look at someone and they're like, how does this person everything just always works out for them, right? You ever see people like that? Or like, man, this person, everything always just works out for them. It's because they're a winner. They do everything they possibly could to make sure everything they do is successful. And that's how I'm wired.
And that's going to bring you a lot of success and a lot of money as a result of that. The money is a result of the wiring and the process and the processes and, like the daily actions. Yeah. And because you practice those daily actions and you keep wanting to grow and you keep wanting to perform, you're going to make a lot of fucking money.
No, I mean, you get what you deserve. Let me tell you that. There was a study done, and it was a Harvard study, I think. Don't quote me on that. But
some big study.
Huge study. And it was basically, if all the money in the world right now was spread evenly between every person in the world, in 10 years, all the money would be right back where it is. Why? Because you make the amount of money that you deserve to make. And I 1,000% believe in that. You work extremely hard. You develop as a person. You're going to make a lot of money. But, like, people who have a lot of money, people who win the lottery, they're not as developed as a person to have that amount of money. They blow it. So like for me, it's so insane to think about, but like every time I feel like I'm developing as a person, I'm making more and more money. Every time I look more fit, I'm making more and more money. Every time I started reading more, I've been making more and more money. Every time I feel like I'm making more and more money, I look at my life and it's like I've been developing as a person outside of money. I've been becoming more wise. I've been making better decisions. I've been thinking outside the box. And my personal development has side by side correlated with the amount of money that I'm making. And it's insane. It's like absolutely insane to think about. If all the money is spread out, it'd be right back in the same place. But I believe it.
So I think it's the same thing with traders. You've each traded the same amount of money. Guess what? In probably a year,
I'm so happy you brought this up.
The winners are going to be profitable. The losers are going to have nothing.
If you can't turn a 5K account to 10K, you can't turn a 50K account to 100K, and you won't be able to turn a 500K account to 100K. It's not the capital. It is not the capital. It's your trading performance.
It's the skill.
It's a skill.
It's the experience.
So for all of you guys who are out here, you just you blew your account, you're thinking you deposit more money. I've made that mistake and I've lost doing it. Don't make that mistake. It's not the capital. It's your trading. Simple.
Yep. So there's something else I wanted to bring up too. Obviously we don't really talk about our businesses on here. This isn't to promote, but you had a pretty cool idea you're bringing to fruition. Something that's going to bring traders together. What can you speak on that? Because you haven't talked about it much on social media.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so right now I have New Age, basically where we teach traders, and side by side with that, I'm building a company called TradeCon. TradeCon is going to be the biggest retail conference for traders taught by live trading experts, verified profitable traders in the world. It's going to be, number one, hopefully it's going to be located in Miami, Florida. And it's going to be a 2.5-day event, sessions, speakers, meet your favorite, mentors and teachers, and bring your communities. Team Bull's coming. We're basically bringing the whole trading space together, and we're teaching them in person. It's different. It's so much different in person. I mean, you've hosted in-person events. They hit different. Cool. You learn differently. You connect to network, connect. Like that's something in trading. It's kind of hard to network. It's kind of hard to network in trading.
It's a very lonely profession.
Exactly.
It can be.
That's our goal, is to bring everybody together, help everybody meet each other. We're going to be, having those crazy speaking sessions, some of the craziest traders like ever. And this is the top of the top guys. Like, I'm not just inviting anybody. I've had tons of people ask me to come speak at it. I've said no. So it's still in the works, but it's at TradeCon on Instagram if you want to, keep in touch with it, and hopefully all goes well. Again, it's a business, so it's, we're working really, really hard, and it's a lot harder to put on a couple-day event where you have to feed people, host people. It costs a lot of money too, but I think it's going to be great for the trading space. So that's my goal. I want to build something bigger than me and bigger than money.
I'm excited to see you pull it off.
Thank you.
It's going to be awesome, man.
I will.
Now, as we wrap this up, I always like to end these podcasts with having you say something or resonate with something to the audience of what you want to be remembered by, maybe advice that would have helped you when you were first starting at 12 years old. And, just a piece of advice or knowledge or self-criticism, whatever it may be that you think is a good spot to leave the audience with. It's kind of
when you're 75 years old, when you're laying on your deathbed, imagine this, you're laying on your deathbed and you think back and you think to yourself, wow, I never posted that video because I was scared of what people were going to think about me. Wow. I didn't trade. I didn't try and change my life. I didn't have to try to have freedom because I was scared to lose money. I was scared to take a risk. Wow. I wish I would have done that. I'm telling you guys, don't waste your potential. Don't waste that's the biggest scary fear I have, is wasting my potential. And that's why I work so hard every single day to make sure I reach my full potential. So take that risk, post that video. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone and do what you have to do. If you have a dream, then you know what? Make goals that's going to accomplish that dream. And you want to accomplish the goals, make a plan. Plans are going to accomplish the goals. The goals will accomplish a dream. And what do you do with the plan? You execute it. So you want to execute a plan The plan is how you can hit your goals. Hitting the goals is how you achieve your dreams. And yeah, I mean, just keep showing up.
Don't waste your potential. That hits hard.
That's what I get scared of.
You know, you don't want to. You think that time is limitless until one day you look back and you're like, oh shit, I wasted all my opportunity. I wasted that golden patch of time. My teens, my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, my 50s. And at some point, like, I'm a believer that it's never too late to start, but at some point it is, you know? And like you said, we're all going to die eventually, right? So you don't want to be laying on that deathbed thinking, damn, I really fucked up all the potential I could have had. I didn't take that risk to start trading because I was scared to lose money. I didn't post that video because I was scared what people might think about me. I didn't start that business because I didn't want to take the time away from drinking and partying to read a book or watch a video, you know? It's real. It's real.
You think you're going to be thinking there and thinking about all the times you got hammered. You can't even remember that. You can't. You'll be thinking about the experiences. You'll be thinking about the people you impacted. And you'll be thinking about what you accomplished. So accomplish more, travel more, and leave a positive impact on every single person that you interact with. I love that. And it's not trading related, but I love it. You need to leave positive interactions, and you need to just have integrity overall as a person. Leave a positive expression on everybody.
It's real. I think that's a good place for us to wrap up too.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, man. I look forward to seeing, obviously, you know, you're 17 years old. I think this won't be the last time we talk on here. I know the audience will love too, keeping up to date with your story. And you can follow him on his Instagram, his YouTube, his socials are below, all things PB. And for all you future traders out there, again, remember this is sponsored by the Funded Futures family. Use code FFF below for best discounts. And hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. PB dropped a bomb of knowledge on us, and can't wait to see what else you learn. And
thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys.
Bro.
We love you guys.
We love you guys. Until next time.